Most people will never finish this video, not because it's too long, because the first 30 seconds won't stroke their ego enough to keep them watching. This isn't for them. This is for the ones who already sensed something was different about the way they think, the ones who've been called too intense, too analytical, too much, the ones who've spent years wondering if that was a flaw or a feature. Here's your answer. Habit 1. You read silence better than words. Ordinary people listen to respond. Sharp minds listen to decode. Someone says, "I'm fine." You catch the half-second delay before it, the clipped tone, the way their eyes moved wrong. You're not just processing language. You're running diagnostics on a human being in real time while everyone else is still reading the surface. In the show, Lie to Me, Dr. Cal Lightman built an entire career on one brutal truth. What people don't say is louder than what they do. That premise isn't fiction. It's a description of how your mind already works. Psychologists call this advanced theory of mind, combined with high pattern sensitivity. You're not reading minds, you're reading inconsistencies. And in a world where most people believe whatever they're told, that skill is worth more than any degree hanging on any wall. Habit 2. You already know where things are going. You've left books unfinished, walked out of conversations early, checked out of meetings while everyone else was still engaged. Not because you're scattered, because you already arrived at the destination, and waiting for everyone else feels like standing at the finish line, watching people tie their shoes. This is high-speed pattern completion, one of the most reliable markers of fluid intelligence. Your brain projects the trajectory of an idea before the person delivering it has even reached the halfway point. Think about Sherlock Holmes. Not charming, not socially comfortable, visibly irritated by anything moving slower than his mind. People called him arrogant. He wasn't arrogant. He was a Lamborghini stuck in school zone traffic. The engine wasn't the problem. The road was. If you've been told you're impatient or distracted, understand what's actually happening. Your processing speed is outrunning your environment. That's not a flaw. That's a measurement. And the measurement is in your favor. Habit 3. You distrust your own first instincts. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. You'd think a sharp mind trusts itself completely. The sharpest ones don't. They're the most suspicious of conclusions that arrive too quickly, too cleanly, too conveniently. Richard Feynman had one rule for every theory he developed, including his own. Prove yourself wrong first. Not consider other angles. Not play devil's advocate. Attack your own idea with everything you have. If it survives, maybe it's worth defending. Most people fall in love with their ideas the second they arrive. They defend them like territory. They'd rather be confidently wrong than uncomfortably uncertain. That's ego wearing the costume of intelligence, and it's one of the most dangerous things a mind can do. You've paused mid-sentence, felt the floor shift under your own reasoning, and changed direction before the words finished leaving your mouth. People thought you were unsure. You were actually running a level of cognitive quality control that most people skip entirely. You caught your own error before it went public. That's not weakness, that's surgery. Habit 4. Idle time feels like a slow punishment. Most people rest without guilt. You can't. There's a specific discomfort that lives in you when your mind isn't working on something. Vacation feels like withdrawal. Silence feels like an accusation. You can be physically still and mentally sprinting, and the two states refuse to coexist peacefully. This isn't workaholism. Research on high cognitive demand individuals shows elevated baseline brain activation even at rest. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't power down the way average brains do. It idles like a jet engine. Nikola Tesla slept 2 hours a night for years, not from discipline, but because his mind physically refused to stop. He described trying to sleep as arguing with a factory. He didn't celebrate this. He found it exhausting. But he also built the framework for how the modern world runs on electricity. The guilt you feel when you're idle is your mind measuring the gap between its capacity and its current output. Most people have no idea what they're capable of. You do, and that knowledge never lets you fully rest. That's not a curse. It's the cost of clarity. Habit 5. Intellectual dishonesty makes your skin crawl. Not just annoys you, physically bothers you. When someone states something confidently false, when a room full of people nods along to obvious nonsense, when a polished argument collapses under one question nobody thought to ask, something in you tightens. It's almost a sound, pitched just slightly wrong. Only you can hear it. In Death Note, L cannot sit in a room where the logic is broken without correcting it, regardless of social cost, regardless of what it costs him. The truth is not a preference for him, it's a physiological need. That's closer to your experience than most people would believe. Jonathan Haidt's research on moral cognition found that people with higher integrative complexity, meaning the ability to hold multiple variables in tension simultaneously, have a measurable discomfort response to oversimplified conclusions. Your brain has a quality control mechanism. When it detects sloppy thinking, it triggers an alarm. You've spent years being told you make things too complicated. The reality is, you refuse to make them too simple. There is a difference, and the difference is everything. Habit 6. You remember the exact moment you changed your mind, not the gradual drift most people experience over years. The exact moment, the precise second the old framework cracked and something new took its place. You can recall the sentence, the setting, sometimes even where you were standing. This is called epistemic autobiographical memory. It's disproportionately common in people with high reflective functioning. You don't just update your beliefs, you track the revision history. You know who you were before each idea broke open and who you became after. Most people's minds shift like rivers, slowly, imperceptibly over decades. Your mind shifts like earthquakes, sudden, seismic, and you know exactly when each one hit. That's not instability, that's radical intellectual honesty. You are conscious of your own cognitive evolution in a way that makes most people's mental lives look like they haven't run a single update since they were 19. Habit 7. You're haunted by what you haven't figured out yet. Not by failure, not by regret, by open problems. There are questions living in the back of your skull. Some of them have been there for years, unresolved, circling, not because you haven't tried to answer them, but because you refuse to accept a cheap answer just to get rid of the discomfort. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome, most powerful man alive, and every night he sat with his private journals writing variations of the same admission. What am I still missing? He wasn't weak, he was hungry. He used his own incompleteness as a compass. That hunger is your most defining trait. It's the engine behind everything else on this list. The pattern recognition, the distrust of easy answers, the physical discomfort around lazy thinking. All of it comes from one place. Your mind is not satisfied by knowing. It is only satisfied by understanding. And real understanding has no finish line. You've tried explaining this feeling to people, the sensation of chasing something just beyond the edge of what you can currently see. They tell you to relax. They mean it kindly. But what they're actually saying is, your frequency is making me uncomfortable. That discomfort is not your problem to solve. 7 habits, 7 markers, all pointing in the same direction. You're not too much. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're operating at a depth most environments aren't designed to hold. The world rewards loud certainty over quiet accuracy. But in the decisions that actually shape a life, made alone, with everything on the line, the sharp mind always wins. The only question left is whether you're actually using it at full capacity, or whether you're still playing small in rooms built for people who aren't you. If you want to learn more about dark psychology and human nature, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.